Mindscape has put their name on some real turds. Days of Thunder, The Terminator, and Mad Max for the NES come immediately to mind. But I think they might have outdone themselves this time with The Last Starfighter. Now, I've only seen the film in bits and pieces, so I can't say how closely the game follows it. But just as a game by itself, it's fucking horrible. Seriously, it's one of the worst shooters I've ever played, and I wouldn't recommend it even if you love the film. So anyway, let's get into it. The Last Starfighter for the NES. The graphics in The Last Starfighter don't look all that bad. However, compared to other side-scrolling shooters in the genre like Gradius and Abadox, they don't measure up. For example, here in the first level, I don't particularly like the flat, blocky gray ships. The rest of the background looks dull as well, and there's no real sense of texture to it. As for your fighter craft, the design is decent, but the enemy fighters look too weird and nondescript for my tastes. The biggest problem with the graphics, though, is that it's very difficult to tell what objects you can fly through and what ones you can't. There are certain parts where you'll be flying along and BAM! You'll crash into a wall that you don't even see. Like this footage here. How can you tell that's a wall? And this will fuck you up over and over again. Couldn't they have taken just a little bit of time to distinguish what you can fly through and what you can't? Of course not! These are the same fuckwits who put their name on a game where you can't even fix your car in a pit stop. Almost as bad as the graphics are the controls. You fly right to start, but if you press left, you'll go in the opposite direction. But if your enemies are going the other way, you can't shoot them. Great design there. Firing your ship's lasers is accomplished by pressing the B button. And when you turn, it's still the B button. I'm surprised they didn't switch it to the A button just to fuck with you a little bit more. I wish I could say that the gameplay is better than the graphics or the controls, but it's not. When you start the game, you're given 5 lives and no continues. In the first level, you have to destroy fighters docked on spaceships. And that's it! Wow, that's real thrilling! Facetiousness aside, the gameplay is dull as shit. Instead of doing your basic side-scrolling shoot-'em-up where waves of enemies come at you fast, they decide to have you blast non-moving targets, which makes playing this game about as exciting as watching snails fuck. Again, I can't help but compare this game to something like, say, Gradius. In that game, the action is fast and furious. In this game, you'll be lucky if you don't fall asleep. Hell, name a half-dozen side-scrolling shooters at random, and chances are most, if not all of them, are going to be better than this bag of mule piss. Another problem, and this goes back to the graphics, is that sometimes it's even hard to tell when you're being attacked. In particular, the missiles are a real problem. Look at this thing. Does this look like a missile to you? It doesn't look like a missile to me. It looks like a golden testicle. Maybe they could try making their missiles look more like missiles? Not to mention that the fucking enemies attack you almost instantly and give you very little time to get used to the controls. Like here, boom, I'm just dead. Gee, thanks. Once you manage to destroy all the stationary fighters, you're told to land now. Land now? How? It's not like the game gives you a fucking clue. And while you're trying to figure it out, chances are your ship's gonna get blown up. As it turns out, though, it's not that difficult. You go to the runway on the last ship of the screen. Once you're there, you line yourself up with the runway and tap left very gently. Then the ship lands itself. To the game's credit, at least it's easier to land the Starfighter than it is to land the plane in Top Gun for the NES. Afterwards, you're treated, if that's the word for it, to a bonus level. What purpose it serves, I have no clue. From what I've read about this game, apparently it's a fuel rod chamber. Okay. Anyway, you have to press the A or B button when the score flashes. If you do so, you get bonus points. But if you hit the A or B button when the word quit appears, you lose the bonus round. At this point, however, I could not care less. Once the bonus round ends, all the ships in the level but yours blow up. In this part, the game takes control, and the only thing you can do is steer your ship up and down. You know, the controls are bad enough, but it's even worse when you can't do anything that fucking matters. So anyway, the ships blow up, you win the day, whoop-de shit, let's get on with it. Then the next level comes and you do the same damn thing all over again. Only this time, it's even harder. Oh yeah, and they palette swapped a few of the ships and changed a few of their designs. Ooh! By the second level, I had enough. This game is so aggravating that it's really not worth playing. Even if the repetition of the gameplay wasn't enough to drive you away, the music sure will. Here, listen to this crap. It's the only tune in the game, and it just keeps on looping. While researching this game, I learned something interesting. Graftgold, the company who designed this game, actually reused an old Commodore 64 game called Uridium, changed a few things, and put the Last Starfighter name on it. Sound familiar? This is the same crap that Mindscape and System 3 software pulled with Conan for the NES. Take a game on another system like Myth, alter a few things, and presto chango, you got a whole new game to sell. Way to go, you lazy motherfuckers! Unless you like playing the video game equivalent of reheated leftovers, I wouldn't recommend wasting your time on The Last Starfighter. So in conclusion, it's bad enough that this game is awful, but what's worse is that it's an awful game cribbed off another one. If Mindscape wanted to slap their name on a piece of shit, then that's their business. But at least it should have been an original piece of shit! This is Film and Stuff signing off. Thanks for watching. Ooh!